Hi guys, I know this is a little bit longer video than what I usually do, but I wanted to show you guys the process that I go through to preserve natural flowers and then put them into resin. This is a really great way to help somebody save their flowers and put them into something useful or decorative for them to keep forever. So this is how I start out. I take these flowers and I snip off just the heads of these small little flowers, going as close to the base of the flower as I can, or if I want to leave a little bit of a stem, I can do that too. So here I am just snipping off all of those except for that beautiful sunflower. That I'm going to leave whole, and I'll show you how I preserve that also. So I have this wonderful press board that I got off of Amazon. I will link that below because I absolutely love this one. I've had a couple other ones that just didn't work as great. Okay, so you put down the cardboard first, then the blotting paper, and then you take all of the flowers that you want and space them out on that blotting paper. Now, obviously, I've sped this up because you don't want to sit here for an hour watching me lay out flowers, but you need to take your time. Make sure that they are all spread out and not touching, because if they are touching when you put it in there, they're going to be touching when they are dry, and then you can destroy them trying to get them apart. So here I'm just taking a couple little tools and spreading out very gently, spreading out all of the flower petals to make them look really nice for when they are dried. Now you just want to do this very carefully so that you're not ripping the flowers. I try not to touch them too much with my hands because the oils from your hands can actually damage the flowers and leave marks on them, especially the lighter colored flowers. So now we're going to put another piece of blotting paper over it, a piece of cardboard over the top of that, and we're going to put another piece of blotting paper. Now the kit that I bought for the press actually comes with all of those. I think you can press like 6 layers at a time. In this video, I'm only doing 2 layers because I had the purple flowers and these cute little white daisies that I'm putting in there. Now you can see I'm snipping off the tail ends of those so that they do lay a little bit flatter. And again, I'm just going to spread the petals out to make them open up a little bit more, so when they press them, it's not folding those little petals over. These flowers are actually from my daughter's college graduation. I'm so excited that is finally over with. She's my youngest daughter, and she's now graduated from University of Michigan as a teacher. So just had to throw that in there while I'm putting all of this together. I'm very proud of her. You can actually see some little balloon tattoo thing on my hand or on my arm left over from her party. But anyway, back into it. Now, after we put our other layers on there, you put the wood top on and you screw these little wing nuts down and get it as tight as you possibly can. Now, I did have to use a pair of pliers on the other side to hold the bolt in place so that I could get it extra tight. So that is going to sit just like that for a couple weeks. Oh, there's a flower in that one. Okay, so this is my silica gel that I use to do the larger flowers. So I'm going to dig down a little bit. You can see I've got a few petals still in there, but whatever. And now I'm going to snip that down so that it fits really good. You want to make sure that even the stem is in the silica gel. The stem of your flower holds a lot of water. That is because when you have your flowers in water, it sucks that water up through the stem to get those petals nice and pretty. So you want to make sure if you are incorporating the stem, you want to make sure that that is all in there. All right, it has been about 2 weeks now that I've had these drying in here, and let's take this apart and see what we've got. So you just carefully are going to take these apart. Yes, you are going to have some that stick to the top, some that stick to the bottom, and we will deal with all of that. You're going to use some tweezers to very gently pull these off of there so that you don't damage them. I'm going to set that one aside so that we can see the purple ones. I absolutely love this process. I love being able to create something out of somebody's flowers for them to keep forever. And see how these just came out? And I actually really like that they're all different shapes and sizes. They're nice and dry and flat and now easy to use in resin. So I'm just going to take all of those off very gently. Gentle and slow is the theme here because you really don't want to destroy your flowers. They do stick to that paper a little bit, but with tweezers, you can take those off pretty easy. Now let's check out that sunflower that she had given me. Now here you're going to gently move that silica gel away from your flower. You don't want to just reach in and grab it. And it is really good and dry. You're going to just tap off any of that silica gel because you do not want the silica gel in your resin. It makes it look like you have bubbles in there. So you want to make sure that you remove all of your silica gel. So everything is good and dry and we are ready to start putting this stuff into resin. All right. Now you can see I've got my tweezers again. I'm actually making her 3 different items. And I'm just going to put all of these purple and white flowers in here. The one is going to be a pen cup. The other one is going to be a little jar to put paper clips or whatever, the little things in. Now I'm not securing these flowers in there. I am just placing them randomly in there so that they have a nice little pattern. But I don't care if they float around a little bit in this one. I actually want it to be a little bit more random. Now, if I wanted these flowers to be in the exact spot that I want them to be in, I would put a little UV resin on the back of them and secure them into the areas that I want them. But because I kind of want them to float around, I'm not securing them. So this is the lid to that jar. I'm placing 1 flower in the top of that lid and putting a little bit of resin on top of it just to make sure that that kind of stays where I want it to be. And then I'm going to pour the rest of this resin into the other 2 molds. I cannot remember how many ounces I mixed up of resin. It was probably about 24 ounces, somewhere in that range because I knew I needed a lot for this project. This resin actually is a very stable resin. I can mix it and let it sit there for a while, even at that amount. And I don't really usually have flash cures. Now, I'm not saying ever because we all have them, but for the most part, with this resin, I do not have many of them. It would take a lot for it to flash cure. So I'm going to fill those almost all the way up. Not quite, but almost. And then I'm going to shove a few more of these flowers in there because I don't want to waste any. So I want to make sure that I've used all of the flowers that she gave me. While I'm doing that, I would really like to know if you guys could leave me a comment and let me know, do you like these longer instructional videos? Does this help you at all, or do they get boring? I really want to know because I want to make good instructional videos for you guys, but I want to make sure that you like them. All right, so on to the sunflower. This one I'm doing a little bit different. I'm going to put this in a heart mold with deep pour Unicone art resin. I've put a couple drops, like 1 or 2 drops of forest green in it, just to give it a little bit of a color background. And what I'm pouring in right now is about 12 ounces of that deep pour resin. Now I did this in 2 layers. I don't think I filmed the second layer for some reason, but that's just the same thing, just pouring on top of it. So I do it in the first layer to set that flower, make sure that it's not going to move at all. I take a little bit of the resin and pour it over the leaves and get those to where I want them. If you try to do it all in one pour, you don't have a chance to adjust anything. So doing it in a couple pours gives you a little bit more time to adjust things. Now I'm going to do the bottom of the other two. What I have is just a little bit of resin that I've added a deep purple and a little bit of Renfio holographic glitter to it, just because my daughter sparkles. So I'm going to pour a little bit of that in there, and then I've got some purple and green rocks that I got from Michael's. These were on sale, so I picked them up, and I really like them. So I'm going to toss those on top. Now, the rest of that had already hardened for 24 hours. This is actually the next day. So I always let that first layer harden for 24 hours, and then I do a base. I always like to do a decorative base on mine. Yes, it takes an extra day or so, but it adds just that extra little love to it. So those are going to sit for another 24 hours before we can take those out of the mold. Like I said, meanwhile, I had done another layer on the sunflower. 24 hours after that, now we are ready to take everything out. That is the lid. So the way we're looking at it right now is what it's going to look like on there. This is the jar. Let's get that out of there and see what we've got. Oh, look at that. Now, see, on this one, the flowers did float to the top, but I actually really like that because now when you put the lid on it and it's sitting, the flowers are towards the bottom, and I absolutely love how that came out. Now, I always leave the lid off while it finishes curing because even though I can touch this stuff right now, it's not fully cured. Oh, there it is. Oh, I love how that came out. Now, that is going to be the pen cup, and I'm going to personalize it. I can't talk. Personalize that for her. So she is Mrs. Kehoe, and I'm going to take this pen cup, and I used my Cricut to print out her name. I'm going to use my transfer paper and get that put on the outside of this for her desk at her new school that she's going to be teaching at. Now, this is actually a pretty easy process. If you have a Cricut, I didn't have one for the longest time, and I tell you what, it was very, very worth the investment. I got it, I think, around Christmas time when they were on sale. That's the best time to get them. And it has made a world of difference of what I can do with my resin. From bookmarks all the way up to things like this, being able to personalize things, just to give it that little added love. People love that. All right, now here we are back to that sunflower, and I have, like I said, the second coat has already been put in there. Now I am going to put my words on here. Now this is going to sit on its side, so I'm making it so the words can be read, because obviously with the heart, unless you have it in a stand, it has to lay kind of on its side, and it works great as like a bookend or a decorative piece. These are actually really popular. I've done these with just one rose or a few roses, but when you can personalize things for people like this, they really, really like it. So I'm going to finish putting all of these little words on here. And then the last step for this one is I'm going to put one more small thin coat on it while it's still in the mold. That's why I'm putting the words on it now, because I want them kind of buried in the resin to make sure that they're not going to come off. So I've got that on there. I pour one more small layer of resin on it before I take it out of the mold. And you can see everything is all covered. Now I'm going to take it out and we're going to do that last doming coat and make it just really sparkle. So look how pretty that is. See how that's just all encased in the resin. Now there is a little bit of a lip all the way around because when you take it out of a mold like that, it's always got that lip. But this is where we're going to dome it and get rid of that lip and just give it that finishing touch. Look how pretty that already makes it look. Now you just pour a little bit of clear resin in there. And I take my popsicle stick and spread it all the way to the edges without going over. That's why I don't file off that little lip, because it works great to hold that resin in there to give it that nice finished dome look. And now we're just going to let that sit for another 24 hours. And here they are. I am so excited about how these came out, and I've actually already given them to her, and she absolutely loved them. So I hope you guys like these and get some ideas from it or learn something. But if you do, give me that like and leave a comment if you have any questions or want to see anything else. Have a great day.